very nicely. They put the transponder, which was sanitized, and the driver's meeting in a Ziploc bag with your name on it. So there was no gathering for a driver's meeting, and everybody stayed away from each other. But Mikey, for some reason, once you get racing, it seemed all normal. Once we got going, it was fine.
I imagine maybe one of the best feelings you've had in a few months was cranking that engine up and hitting the racetrack. How good did that feel for you? Because I know you've been all pent up. You needed to get out.
Mikey, you're right. You know me as good as anybody. And I'll be honest, I'm not embarrassed to admit it. I was not doing good in the last 2 weeks. At first I'm like, I'm okay. Because I do like me time, because I do get exhausted being me. It wears me out. So, I was getting upset because my wife was scared, and I'm like, darn it. And I was just not doing good. So from that standpoint, when I got in that race car and fired that motor up, I just felt all my anxiety leave.
The Yankees are trying to win their fourth game in a row. Hello, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper with Mike Krukow for EA Sports as we get set for today's ball game. Should be a great game today between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees.
I'm happy to have my Kenny back.
Yeah, I'm sure that she was. How many cars were in this race? And tell me about the race itself. How did you do? And how bad?
Dirksen steps into play.
How did it all go?
Part of the CDC guidelines was we had to contain the car count. We knew that if they opened it up, you'd have over 100 race cars, and that could not happen. So it was an invitational race. What they did is they invited 12 of their local drivers.
And we're underway.
And there was a total of 32 cars in the modifieds and 32 sprint cars.
With the fastball,
so
10
people per car. So, still quite amount of people. But the reason it worked good, as you know, it's South Dakota. So the pits were huge. And we were able to park the truck and trailers 30 feet from each other.
Point control right there.
So, that's the way they contained it, was, only 32 cars invited. So it was invitational. But Mikey, where they hit a home run is they did this pay-per-view deal. And they made a lot of money.
That's awesome.
It worked really well.
Well, when you hit the track
Here's
and
the 1-0
you're
delivery.
kicking the dirt up, one of my favorite things to do
missed the strike zone
is
with
when
a
we go to
100-mile-per-hour
Eldora for the
heater.
truck race, and you bring
was the
your
purpose, Mitch. He was
modified
trying to
there.
get the batter to
And I
chase.
watched crazy Kenny Wallace. Everybody thinks just a
2-1
nut.
count.
Go down in turn 3, have that left front tire about 3 feet in the air, and just hammering the gas. I mean,
3-1
you are
count.
so good. Obviously evident by all those trophies behind you. You're so good behind those dirt modifieds.
It's too bad
So
he
how did
lost
you
this guy.
perform
He just lets him get away.
against the field in South Dakota?
Cabrera is next.
So I finished 32 cars the first night. I finished 12th. The second night, now we raced at a place called the New Raceway Park, very close, and I finished 8th there. So, I was happy with it because I was in another man's race car. And, Mike, at my age, I'm going to be 57 in August. I'm thrilled to death with my life to be able to compete. And, all those years in NASCAR, although I had a good time, it was a great life. Competition can kill you. And I was happy, to finish 12th. I tried hard, but, like our dear friend Dale Earnhardt Sr. told me and you, he said, Kenny Wallace, there are thousands of great race car drivers all over the United States.
The home plate umpire asks for help.
So, I want to be clear, and you know this too, when you show up to these local dirt tracks, it doesn't mean you're better than them. These guys are really good.
Yeah, really good. And how'd Schrader do? Is he the same old Schrader, as solid as a rock?
Well, it was hilariously funny because both nights, I finished 12th, he finished 13th. The next night, I finished 8th, he finished 9th. I pissed him off a little bit.
And then you had to ride 8 hours to get to hear about it.
Well, he's so funny. You know, he just
out number 3.
The last night, like with 1 to go, I decided to run the high line. And I looked to the left of me, and I saw him on the inside of me. And I said, oh, no. So I took my car down, I blocked him off. It's after the race, we get to drinking a beer, and he says, you chopped me off. I said, yes, I did.
And here's a look at how the defense is lining up.
That's so good that you get to smile and laugh like this. I think the whole world's been missing it, and just hats off to the promoter for coming up with a plan and making it all work. And what I like about Schrader after he's had a couple of beers after the dirt race, before he says anything, he'll go,
misses for a ball.
Yeah.
Wipe his mouth and he'll go, you cut me off.
Yeah, it was a good time. And
change him outside.
I think that if everybody knows that we took every precaution.
A liner.
So, Mikey, even like the bathroom. You go to a dirt racetrack, the bathrooms usually are not that great. But I went into this particular bathroom. It was like a hospital.
For a 3-base hit.
Soap dispensers,
nobody's got a set of wheels like
towels,
this guy. He made that double into triple like
CDC guideline lines, taped on the wall. 2 people outside with masks on. It looked like we were all going to space. So sanitary. And then they had a couple people that were like almost like EMT responders. They were monitoring everybody. Because the crew members were going into the grandstands. They were allowing the crew members to go to the grandstands. So while we were racing, you could look up there and there was a decent amount of people watching, but the first responders that were there, they would look at everybody and they were monitoring the situation.
Damon
puts it away. Like I said, that you got to experience some competition. I know how much it means to get out there and fix it up. But
to me, that's a successful bat. Every time you can drive and run, you've done your job. The pictures, the videos you send on Twitter, they totally entertain me. I love seeing you with your grandkids and just enjoying life. I know it's important to be able to have some bids, and it looks like to me those little kids are so special to you, and it's helping you through these tough times.
It really is. I've always loved children.
There's a strike.
It doesn't take me long to warm up. Mikey, the most wonderful feeling is, I'm in my race shop right now,
sometimes
as you can tell.
Try to make a hit or change
but,
That's exactly what you saw right
the weather starts warming up a little bit. Maybe I might have the doors open. I'll be intense working on my race car, and I look, and here comes them babies with my daughters, or their husbands. And, man, I just stopped doing everything I'm doing. And
with 1 inning played,
it is the best. As you know, there's an old joke. If I could have skipped my children and went straight to my grandbabies, that would have been awesome. It's a great time of life. In reality, we don't want to grow old, but there is a silver lining, because my life is a lot easier right now. And I'll take something Jeff Burton said. Would I want to be 22 years old again? Hell no.
He fooled the batter on that.
I'm really happy right now. You're right. Those grandbabies make me happy.
And you've got your dear friend Kenny Schrader. He's a few years ahead of you, and he's still kicking it just fine. So I know he's an inspiration not only to you and I, but to a lot of people.
He really is. And, for everybody that's watching this, me and you are dear.
That one splits the outfielder.
I won't ask you. I said, Mike, are you gonna be like Richard Petty? You gonna hang out those NASCAR tracks? And you said, yes, I am. And I realized right then, we all are different. And I listened to a handful of people. The great Dick Trickle, he told me, he says, as long as you can justify it, it's all about each one of us. And
up next,
Mikey, you love NASCAR like I do, but you love it more.
Been known to struggle
and
at
Kenny
times
Schrader
pitching.
loves this dirt racing, and he's the one that got me involved in dirt racing, and he loves it more than me and you do.
So if it's hit to him,
so
expect there to be
I
a play.
personally took a little bit of you, Mikey.
The batter got the benefit
I took a little bit of Schrader, and I listened to Dick Trickle, and I think I'm right where I like to be right now,
Fastball
you know.
inside.
So,
No wonder you're a mess.
Wild at times, and we issue more walks than we'd like to.
well, you know,
That's
I
quite
am a
the combination
mess.
there, buddy.
Walks
There's no
always
doubt
seem
I'm
to
a
come
mess.
around to hurt you. He falls
Like I
behind
tell
the bat,
everybody,
he
I
just
said,
never
there's
gets
3
back
of me,
into the at-bat.
and we talk to each other.
Next at the plate, Johnny
You're like
Damon.
me. We can drive by ourselves in the HOV lane and not
He
get any
misses
trouble.
with a 100-mile-an-hour
That's exactly right.
fastball.
Who you
Sometimes
talking
you try to make the hitter
I'm
chase
talking
your
to me,
pitch.
damn
That's
it.
exactly what you saw right there.
Double grounded in my car.
That's a called
Look at that.
strike.
Let's go back, and we have something in
He
common.
attacked the batter with that
Tell-
hard
tell the
slider. He
folks
got
at
the swing
home.
strike.
You know, you're a racer from St. Louis, and you want to go NASCAR racing. How did you
Roa
how did you get that
down with strike
opportunity?
three.
Obviously, we both are really blessed to have brothers
This
that
batter can
made
flat
our
out
last
hit
names
right-handed
mean
pitcher.
something, and we were able to maybe get in some
He
doors
reached
others
97
couldn't.
on the gun
What,
with a
what was your
fastball
first
strike.
trip
He strikes
down
out about
south to go
7 through 9
NASCAR
innings.
racing? What
Pretty
was that
impressive
like?
total.
So,
That'll
as
do
you
it as we
said,
go to the
everybody
bottom of
knows
the
that
inning.
your brother's Darryl
Heading
Walter,
into the
mine's
bottom of
Rusty
the
Walter.
second. New
But
York leads
put
by
that
1.
aside for a minute. When Rusty was racing USAC, everybody kind of noticed me because I was very
Ground ball
young,
hit the other way to
and
the
I was
right
working on the
side.
race car.
And he's out.
Because like you, I grew up around racing. Well, it was Joe Ruttman that noticed me. And Joe Ruttman, who got into NASCAR with that Levi Garrett car.
He hits the target for
And
his strike.
I was down in, I believe it was
0-1.
Jefferson, Georgia. It was in Jefferson, Georgia.
That
And it was
one's
a short
foul,
track
but it
race.
should stay in play.
And
he puts it away in foul
we were at a
territory.
McDonald's, and it was Joe Ruttman
Next up, Coco
that
Chris.
said, hey, you know, would you want to be a NASCAR crew member? It was that moment, Mikey. It wasn't
Arroyo
Rusty.
delivers strike one.
And I said, let me
He
think
showed
about it. So in
excellent command with that pitch.
1984,
Struck right on the edge of the zone.
me and my wife, you know, at that time, me and Kim weren't even married.
Lands
And we
foul.
went down there off of Tryon Street, Dove Lane Road Apartments, and 1984, I become a crew member. And then, of course, Jake
That's a
Elder was the crew
three-pitch
chief.
strikeout.
Jake quit. They looked at me and said, you're going to be the crew chief. I'm like, what? So here I am,
With 2
1984 in
innings
NASCAR
played,
Cup
Boston
Series.
trails by 1.
And I'm not even a race car driver. I'm just a crew member.
Have you driven anything yet at this point?
No.
When this batter
No,
faces
no.
a right-handed pitcher,
So then-
it's like hitting off a tee.
After 1984, you know, it just got to be where, you know, that's a whole nother story. But I end up moving back to St. Louis, and I got lucky. And
A three-pitch
John
strikeout.
Child,
Hey, good
Child's
strike
Power,
one.
he
Just
was
keeps plowing away
responsible
for
for
the
Rusty.
strikeout.
He literally called me up and said, Herman, you want to go racing?
Hey, his
And
first
so,
pitch is usually a
John
strike.
Child,
He'll follow that with strike 2,
He
and
bought
hey,
my
oftentimes
first
he'll do strike 3
frame
as well.
cage from Dylan
He belts
Jackson.
it way back,
And then
gone.
you know, I begged, balled, and stole, and I built my truck, and my wife bought my
From the
first Dylan
second that
trailer.
ball comes off the bat,
So
everybody knew it was
1986,
out of the yard.
That's
That
when I
was a
first started
shot.
racing in ASA.
So Kenny, back up. Just give me a second here because I don't think I knew this. That's why I love doing these podcasts so much because you're my dear friend and I did not
Stepping
know
in, David
that as a
Ortiz.
21-year-old you ain't raced a car
There aren't
yet.
too many left-handed
That's
hitters who
crazy
enjoy
to me
the
because
type
when I
of
was
success
12,
this guy has
I got
against
these two
right-handed
guys
pitching.
in town to buy me a go-kart and
Two
I
down.
wanted to be like my big brother. I wanted to go be a driver.
The next
I didn't know
batter
much
is
about
Lance
being a crew
Berkman.
guy like you did. So I just drove from the time I was 12. You didn't even
Fastball for a strike.
understand how you didn't say, Rusty, let me drive it. I can drive it. I mean, you were just working on the car. Did you not even
Change
did
him
you
at
not
the
think
knees and
about
over the
being a race car
outside
driver?
corner for a strike.
Mikey, I wanted to be a race car driver so
Roa
bad.
sits him down with strike 3.
But I specifically remember saying, Dad, can I race? And he said, no. I guess at the time,
After
I
2.5,
came along,
the game's
you know,
tied at
I
1.
remember, you know, the gas shortage, you know, and, you know, we were all lined up at the gas stations. You know, I was born.
1975, I think, or 3, 4, 5. I'm going there. I remember all that.
Well, I remember my dad saying, you know, you can't drive because, you know, there's turmoil in the world.
Great swing on that ball.
For some reason, you know, Rusty, I'll never forget. Now, Rusty will tell you right now that he didn't want me to race for selfish reasons because I was a good crew member. And he didn't, you know, and Rusty, like Darryl, very focused.
Yeah.
When you're focused, it's all about me. And there was just, there was Mom, Dad, Rusty, Mike, and me. It was just an all-boy house, and
Pitch misses
a lot
for
of
a ball.
testosterone going on.
He's
And
on 53 innings this season,
everybody
and hitters
was
are having a
kinda
field
fending
day
for themselves,
against this
even though
guy
we
at a
were a
clip of
family. And
346.
I just couldn't get my act together to be a race car driver.
Well,
He makes
thank
the
God
grab
for
and
Mr.
foul
Childs
ground.
giving you a call. Did that come out of left field to you, or did you like, wow, this is pretty cool?
Oh, it came out of left field.
Ramos
But,
digs in at the plate.
I know one thing for sure
This
that
guy's
helped
in
me
great against right-handed
for sure
pitching.
was that I was always with Rusty.
Changeup
And
knee high
because
and
I
over
was
the
with
inner half
Rusty,
for a
I
strike.
met Phil Homer at Goodyear. Because I was with Rusty, I met Don Kern at
He hits a
Locomotive.
line drive the other
So,
way.
as a young kid, I knew everybody that Rusty knew. And I remember getting
A
on the
three-pitch
phone with
strikeout.
everybody. 'Cause
Partner
I
gets
didn't
ahead
have
of
any
him and
money.
never looks back.
Whether
Sweet
it
strikeout.
was, getting free shots or free MSD
Here comes the first pitch of the at-bat.
I baked ball and,
This pitcher
I might
rings
have
up
stole
K's
a
with
little
great
bit.
frequency every time he toes the rubber.
But, that's the way I really got going. And it
Ground
was
ball
rough.
to the
My dad
shortstop.
told me one time, he says, you can't do this. You don't have any money.
He's
And
on with a single.
I specifically remember him saying
Smollenberg
that.
hit that ball in the
That's
ground
right.
and hard enough to get it past the infield.
Living
for
in a
base
single
hit.
bedroom
He
apartment.
makes it
But,
look
we all got those stories, but we made it work.
Yeah, you did.
Misses
you did
for
just
a
that.
ball.
Was your first
Tell you what,
race
this guy's got an uncanny knack
in
for
the
picking
Busch
good
Series
pitches
driving
to
for
steal.
Dale
He
at
might be going
Martinsville?
right
Do I
here.
remember that correctly?
Yeah. So,
Just catches the corner
ASA
for a
racer,
strike.
and you
Walks a
wanted to
few
come
far
south.
between when this dude's on the hill.
So like my brother, our brothers are exactly alike, and we ain't too far off from being exactly alike. My brother, he didn't help me all that much when I was coming up, but when it came time
And he
to
got
tell
him
somebody
swinging
else
to
to help
end
me
the
a little bit, he
After
would do
three,
that for
the
me.
Red Sox
And-
trail by
and
one.
Is it the same with Rusty? Like he asked some people to give you a hand?
yes. So, 1986, 1987, 1988, I did it all on my own with, local help.
That's
Well,
a ground. He's got
Rusty
it.
called
What a
Dick
tremendous diving
And
play.
say how my little brother did. Now, I find this out later on, right? And so it was Dick Trickle was my mentor. Because Dick knew me as a little crew member, And I'll never forget it. It was crazy. November of '88.
This guy here has
maybe a little
moderate
bit earlier.
success against right-handed
Um,
pitching.
He ends up,
Takes a
Rusty
pitch
ends up
just
calling
off
me.
the plate, 1-0.
And he says, Herm, of course, that's my nickname. He says, do you want to run in the Busch
There's a line
Series?
drive.
And I'm serious. At that time, I
That's
didn't
a
really,
base hit with
even
one
though
out.
I was, a crew
Hey, he
chief,
throws
the
it
Busch
fast
Series
to the
didn't
bat,
really
he's ready
register
for it,
to
and
me
he hit
that
it
much.
hard.
And I said, oh my gosh, yes. So Rusty was
Fastball
able
catches
to,
the inside corner
and
for
then
a strike.
right at that moment,
He's hitting
I think that's one
269
thing,
with 5
you know,
long
about
balls
Rusty.
and 16
he,
runs
I
batted
would have
in.
never made it
That
without
one's
Rusty.
driven
So
way back
Rusty,
and gone.
the first 3
Home
years,
run.
kept an eye on me. But Rusty was the one that put my Busch Grand
Hey,
National
Kite,
team
there are
together,
not
which
too
is now
many
the
ballparks
Xfinity
that would have held
Series.
that one.
And I owe Rusty everything. He got me moved down there November of '88, put me in a brand new single wide Oakwood mobile home, had me a van, a free
Up
van.
next,
They got
Johnny
remember
Damon.
this time Rusty's big. And so, so it was
Swung
all
on
about
and
Rusty.
missed.
89, 90, 91, and then after that, like 92, I finally got on my
A
own.
liner.
Man, I was very lucky after that.
Well,
He's
I
on
think
first
I remember
with a
this,
base
and you know
hit.
how you remember weird shit. I don't know why it comes to mind. But I remember, so it was probably '88. I remember being at Martinsville.
Takes
You
a
know,
tailing
I've
fastball.
been working my butt off trying to survive. I'm driving.
Takes a pitch high.
Infield's got to think about playing a double play depth
Driving
right
for
now.
a team that's trying to get better.
Here's the pitch.
And I made it to Cup, and all these kids keep showing up and getting better rides than me and doing better than me.
That's
And
crushed.
I think I remember my
It's
first
gone,
impression
a
of you.
home
This makes
run.
me really makes me smile. Makes me
This guy did a
little
great job of coming in there with a runner on base. That
emotional
was a
too.
huge
'Cause I
two-run
know
jam.
how tough it is. I remember you coming running across the track at Martinsville, maybe with your helmet or whatever,
The
and you're
Yankees have
coming to
someone
the track
throwing
to
in their
drive
bullpen.
Dale Earnhardt's Busch car, and you're going off after that race to go run your ASA car. I didn't know your story, and I'm thinking, here comes another one of them little buttholes. And then I'm like,
Takes
well,
a
he's
pitch
actually
high.
my age.
Sometimes you try to make the
He's
hit
not a
change
kid.
your That's exactly
But,
what you saw right there.
I was jealous because I saw, you being another kid coming in and getting a great ride. And you did a good job in that car that day, and then you ran off to go somewhere else and race, and I thought, this
Caught
is
by
another
the
guy I'm
second
gonna have to deal
baseman.
with for a long time. And
Stepping in at a
we
perfect
weren't really
2 for
friends
2.
at first, but
Miguel
it didn't take us
Cabrera.
long to become friends. And I just have that vision in my mind of you
One
running in and
strike.
out of Martinsville.
Ooh, he fooled him with that breaking ball.
Well,
He's got a good one today.
I'm jealous of you because you have more talent than me
And
in
it's
those
0-2.
race cars. And you won
Batter
2
could
days
not lay off the corner strike. Nice fastball
You won
there.
the Winston. You have great talent, and I think along the road we
3-pitch
crossed
strikeout.
paths, but we really respect each other. And what that Martinsville race that you remember, what that was all about was Rusty
After
and
3.5,
Earnhardt
the
Sr. get
score is
together.
5-2.
NASCAR was not going to let me race Daytona because NASCAR wanted to see, that I was okay. Remember back then, you just can't show up
Ball
to
hit the other
Daytona.
way to the right
They have to make
side.
sure you can drive. So that whole Martinsville deal
Base hit to
was
lead off the inning.
Rusty and Senior put together a ride. And the only reason
guy
I
is
ran
amazing
Martinsville
against
was so
right-handed
NASCAR could
pitching.
see that I could drive.
Runner on first with no one out.
At the time, I'm running ASA for points. I got my little team behind me. And, so
Shallow fly ball
I
to
end
right
up,
field.
driving
Birds
back
follow.
down to, I believe, Greensboro, getting on a plane, going back to Kansas City, and the next day I run my ASA car.
And on 3
Believe me,
pitches,
Mike,
he's
I
gone.
was broke as a joke. And if it weren't for Rusty and Dale Sr., giving me that break, when I say broke, I mean, broke. And how the hell I made it to that race and did that is beyond me. It seems like another life ago.
Liner
It's like,
right at the
did I
shortstop.
really do that? But that's what was going on that
He's on
moment in
first
time.
with a base hit.
And you wound up winning Busch races, which is Xfinity, and then you raced for the championship, made your way to Cup, like you talked about. And I mentioned
Next
when
at the plate,
and
Coco
you were
Chris.
so close to winning Cup races along the way, had those great opportunities. As you look back
He crushes
on your
it.
Cup career, what do you
Caught on the
think is
warning
missing
track.
for you to be able to get to victory lane and enjoy the success
That was not
in
an
the
easy
Cup
catch.
Series that you had
Great
on
defense.
every other level you ever raced? You won everywhere you've been.
What was missing was more raw talent. When I was a kid in school, I was so excited and loaded with confidence. I can do that.
It's hit
And
to the
then
left side.
When I
That'll
got to
do
the
it
Cup
for the inning.
Series, I realized
After
just
4
how
innings,
darn
the
hard those
score
cars
is
were to drive.
5-2.
I came from lighter race
Next up,
cars,
David
rack and pinion
Ortiz.
steering, they stuffed better.
I don't think he has his
And
best
when
stuff
I
out
got
there
in
on
a
the mound.
NASCAR race car, it was like
He's
it was
batting
just a different
246
machine, and I
with
just didn't
2
have
home
I didn't have
runs
enough
and
talent.
16
It
runs
was
batted in.
so hard for me to drive those
Swinging a
cars.
high fly ball
With
to left
that
field.
much talent. Now, I do believe that as I look back on
On
it,
the
if I
ground to
would have
third.
grew up
One
around
out.
those type of cars,
Stepping
maybe
in,
I would have
Lance
been a little bit
Berkman.
better. I'll admit it.
It's hit
Running
out
in
to
the
center.
Cup Series, now that I look back
what
on
a
it,
catch.
was
That
some of
was
the worst
one heck of a
times in my
catch. What a
life.
tough play.
I was miserable. And I'll tell you why I was miserable. Because I wanted to be Jeff Gordon. I wanted to be him. And, it wasn't until about 3 years ago where, I was happy again.
Hit to
So
left field.
when I lived in North Carolina, I was fun. But
He's
I was
in there
like
with a
sad
2-out
clown.
single.
This guy
I would
looks
go
like
back
he may
home
be done. His body language
and
looks
just
very strained.
devastated. Now, I will say this, though.
He hits it down the line.
1989,
Fair ball.
90,
He's
91
headed to third.
were the times of my life. Because when I
Two
ran in
base
the
hit.
Busch Series, I was
He
running.
really got a lot of good wood on that ball. That was a
And I
great
was-
piece of hit for the double.
It was only until I went to the Cup Series I realized, holy crap, these guys are going down to the corner 200 mile an hour, and these things are loose, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself,
On a base hit to right, the runner might hold the third. That right fielder's really got a strong arm.
Really, really hard on me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't explain exactly what I needed, and I tried, and and I tried, and I tried.
Ramirez takes inside for a
I
ball.
feel like you're selling yourself a little bit short, in my opinion. And believe me, I lost the most
Taken
races
for a ball.
anyone ever lost.
Sometimes you try to make a hitter chase your pitch.
So
That's exactly what you
I've
saw
been
right
down there where you are.
2-2
But
count.
circumstances make such huge differences. Getting at the right place at the right time, and there's been a lot of
He
guys
goes down swinging.
that just wound up in a better spot than maybe you and I did for a while. Getting the chance to drive for the Whip brothers in '96.
Going into the
to
bottom of
me
the
was-
fifth, the
was
Red
the
Sox
first
lead
big
by
deal
3.
that happened to me. I'm like, I gotta win in this car, and I won the All-Star race, but then after that, it just didn't seem to go as well as I
Pitch
hoped.
misses.
And
He's
I would
registered 1
probably
win
be
and 6 losses so far.
sitting here telling the same story you're telling if I didn't have one guy that believed I could win, and that was Dale. And he
One
just
ball and
said,
one
"You're
strike."
winning with my cars. I promise you're winning with my cars." And he just made me a winner because of the way he
Jenkins
the way he
will take
treated
a
me.
seat. Strike
And
3.
I
Take
talked
part of
about
that was the swing
Talladega.
of a guy who was
We
not
just
expecting
would
a
have been here
breaking
this
ball.
past
Strike
weekend.
3 C.
I've got a couple of great memories with you at Talladega, but the first one I want to talk about is the 2000 fall race.
Hit towards second
And
base.
that incredible charge to the front
Got him.
that Dale made with you right on his bumper. How special is that memory for you? And
The Yankees have
it'll go
someone
down in
tossing
history
in
as
the bullpen.
Dale's last win, and you were a big part of that.
So the first thing to be told about that race is kind of like you with the Wood brothers. I had finally got hooked up with Andy Petrie, and his super speedway program was out of sight. It was awesome.
And an off-speed pitch. Nothing.
So now I'm in a competitive
That
car.
changeup was thrown to a perfect
And
spot. Tough to hit,
it
but
was
right on the corner
competitive.
for a strike.
That's number
like
one.
a good pitch, but called
So,
the ball.
the way I
Sometimes
ran
you
those
try to make a
races
hitter chase your pitch.
was
That's exactly
if
what
I
you saw
could lead,
right
I could lead, but I could never really lead. And I would always
Smallenberg
have,
is out
I
on
told
strike.
Jimmy Ellis, my crew
The
chief at the point,
Yankees trail by
I said, let
3
me know
and
when
with
it's
4 innings
25
left
laps to go. I'm
The
going to
next
do the
batter
best I
is
can, but I'm
Johnny
going to stay out of
Damon.
trouble. Well, we come in for that last pit stop. We had a bad pit stop. We come out dead last. I looked in my mirror, and there's Earnhardt in my mirror. And I said, I keyed my button. I said, what happened to Earnhardt?
Swings and misses.
He said he had a bad pit stop too. Well, we dropped that green flag with 10 laps to go, and I was going. And
And on 3 pitches,
I
he's
got
gone.
kicked. I think
3
we're going
pitches,
into
3
turn
strikes. They'll
one.
get easier than that part.
And Senior got back by me. We go down the back straightaway, and I end up behind him for some
A
reason.
ball.
Timing and circumstances. And he's wearing
And
those
here's
white
the
gloves.
delivery.
And yeah.
He swung
Yeah.
23
You know,
bases.
it's like, oh my gosh, Dale Earnhardt's talking to me. He's like,
Dirksen
come on, help
pulls the
me.
pitch to right field.
And that's all it took. And I'm like, oh
He
yeah.
puts it away.
You know?
The
So,
Yankees have a lefty and a righty
from
thrown in
then
the
on,
pen.
I knew that I couldn't let
Jackson will
anybody
hit next.
between us. And no matter how hard I tried with that rules package,
Pitch taken
you
for a
couldn't
ball.
hit them. I could only get to them. If you could hit them, it was luck. You could be struggling. It was like little, with that rules package, you couldn't really get to them. But I stayed right there. And I'll be damned, if we made it to the front. And I think
He
after
strikes out
that,
swinging.
so much took place. I get out of the race car, and all over the loudspeaker, all
Going
I
into the
heard
bottom
was
of the
Dale
sixth,
Sr.
the
going,
score is
if it weren't for
5-2.
Kenny Wallace, I would have never won the race. And I'm like, me?
Barnes makes his way to the plate.
Then it's like a week later, every fan in the United States is, I like you, Kenny Wallace. You helped Earnhardt win. And then the story turns tragic. as we lose senior, and then there's more meanings for the race, because it was the last one of his life. And, sadly, people say to me, what's your most memorable race in your life?
For a ball.
I said, I finished second. It was that race. So, just a fun race. Then became different, after he passed away.
Another thing that we have in common, people ask me what my favorite moment was in NASCAR. And my answer is just like yours. It's when I finished second to Dale Jr. at Daytona, and the celebration we had, how special that was. Obviously, 20 years later, it's pretty cool to have a
that's a great play on a very tough line drive.
I'm glad I got that. Yes, sir. But that moment, that moment was something I'll never forget. It was the best moment of my career, and I didn't even win. So believe me, buddy, I know how it feels to have your best memory be a second place finish.
Mikey,
rounded to the right side.
At that time, there's no doubt.
He's on
for
first
you,
with a base hit.
I remember your moment well. 250,000 people in the grandstand, and
what a
the
shot.
noise was so loud, it was deafening in a good way. I'm getting goosebumps right now. I got goosebumps talking about you there.
I got dumb tears.
Yeah, I mean, for me, one thing I should definitely relate with for me and Earnhardt at Talladega, I'm telling you, my hand on the Bible, I can hear the roar of the crowd on the last lap through my motor noise.
There's a strike with the changeup.
That changeup
I could
was
never
going
say
to a
that.
perfect spot.
I mean, that's actually
right on the
silly
corner
to
for a
say, but I
strike.
could hear it.
Yeah.
And
That'll
that's
do
the
it
way
for
I
the
remember
Yankees with
you
3
and
innings left.
Junior was,
With
oh my
6
gosh,
innings played, the score is 5-2.
250,000 people just
Stepping up to the plate
when
with
you
a
were
single
hugging him out.
already, Miguel
You're right, I'll never
Cabrera.
forget that as long as I live. It's burnt into my brain.
So those were emotional as we look back, very special times. But my first favorite Talladega memory is in whatever year it was. I was telling someone this the other day. I finished second at Talladega to Dale Jr. He won. I was second.
3 strike, doesn't get easy in that part.
You finished fifth
Ortiz
in
comes to the
the
plate.
number 00 Aaron's Dream Machine. Okay, let me just tell you what about that. We built that. We bought that car, used car from DEI, and we rented an engine. Richie Gilmore gave us an engine. We put that car together in a barn behind my house in the country. And Ronnie Silver and the boys loaded it up and took it to Talladega. And we finished fifth in a car we built in a barn. And just how different that is now. You would never finish fifth in a car that you got behind your house now. But what a great day that was. What a great memory. And I still say you finished fifth. You finished fifth.
Up next, Lance
So,
Brookman.
in a funny, sad way, you and I made history. I believe
The bat went through
I
the
was
zone.
the first driver
And I don't think he went on that one. I think the batter got a
in
raw deal
NASCAR
there.
history, with the yellow line rule. So,
Sometimes you try to make the hitter
white
change your
flags
pitch.
in the
That's
air,
exactly what you saw right
and I'm
there.
coming underneath Sterling Marlin,
That's crushed.
and I get my right front, right to his left or barely.
And
turns
it's
down,
out at
and
the
my natural
wall.
reaction was
It's time
turn
for
left.
the 7th inning stretch.
And I didn't even go down on the flat. I remember the car wiggling, and I was underneath the yellow line a little bit. And, it was horrible. I remember after the race being so happy. And I believe Matt
Next
Joseph
at the plate,
Kenny
Coco
Wallace put a
Chris.
great time. Hold on. Kenny Wallace, you've been penalized. You're now last.
One
And I'm
ball
like,
and no
that's fine.
strike.
I was devastated. And the only thing I could do was use my defense mechanism. I was crushed,
Lofts one to
destroyed.
left.
But I said, that's fine. I know I finished fifth.
Berkman
Yeah.
makes the catch.
We
Nice
really
pitch there
did
to get
finish
a fly
fifth.
ball. Nice work.
But I was made an example that day, and it still hurts to this day, but, whatever. But we did run fifth.
Yeah, I was your car owner, and my sponsor, Aaron's, and
There's
and,
a line
and the
drive.
president of Aaron's, Ken Butler, they didn't give a crap where they put you. It meant a spit to them in our eyes. So that was a really fun time in our life, having that chance to run together. We made the Daytona 500 together with the Aaron's car back in '05, and I'm glad we became friends, and I was able to I'll say, I was the owner, so I gave you these opportunities, but I gave them to you because my sponsor wanted you in that car. My sponsors and my team wanted to work
Puts it away for the out.
that you were driving. So thank you for those memories.
Well, that feels odd to me because, I thank you a lot, but
Runner on first
I've told you 100 times, Mikey,
for a strike.
thank you so much. And,
Not lay off the
I want to tell
nice
you,
fastball there.
for me, the most memorable moment for me driving for you was a very strange moment that a lot of people don't know about. It was, when I went to Daytona to make the Daytona 500 driving for you,
Just a bit
it was the
inside.
gold
1 and
car,
2. He
Aaron's
swayed
car.
3 bases.
I'm coming off the turn 4 to the checkered. I'm not in the
No
Daytona
swing.
500.
Okay, the pitcher for one thinks the ump
I
missed
had
the
to
call,
pass
and I think he's right.
Jeffrey Earnhardt to
He pulls a
finish,
line drive.
in the transfer
That'll
spot.
end the inning with a runner
And now
stranded on
remember,
first.
I'm running good.
After
but we're all
7
wadded
innings,
up.
the Red Sox
Like
lead
fifth
by
place
3.
is like right in front of me.
The Yankees
But
bring in a
we're
new pitcher.
2 and 3
Here's
wide,
the new
and
pitcher, Mariano Rivera.
I passed him from turn 4 to the start-finish line in your car. And making that Daytona 500, made my whole week. It was, oh my God, right now I'm feeling drained about it, and because
Mahomes
those twin
takes one up and out of the zone.
150s now, I think it was twin 125 then, but when you make that
Out
Daytona
of the
500
zone,
on
that's a
Thursday,
ball.
But that
it
the
makes
pitcher
the
and
rest
catcher
of
have
the
a
weekend like
strategy
you're
in
on
mind. So
vacation.
far, the
Yeah.
batters are taking these pitches.
oh,
Yes. We've talked about all the good times, and I've got to hit on one of our challenging
Pitch
times.
misses for a
And I
ball.
blocked you on Twitter.
yeah.
We're dear friends. I love you with my whole heart, but I had to put the old
3-2 count.
But I put the old block to you on Twitter.
He comes up a little
And I
bit
know
short.
why I did it, and I know my side of the story. But when you saw I blocked you on Twitter, what were you thinking?
I believe, now, once again, I've said this, my second time I've said this. My hand on a Bible. This is no story I made up. I know you good enough that
Takes
me and
the
you
pitch
share a lot
just
of
off
the
the
same
plate,
traits.
1-0.
We are
He's
both into
batting
psychology.
236 with 3
And
home
we're
runs
both-
and
We
14
both
runs batted
practice
in.
things to make us feel better. I knew that I crossed some type of boundary with you, and I knew what it was.
He swiped 2
I-
bases.
You always say, be kind, or leave. And I knew what the moment was. I knew
What
for
a
a
game.
fact that it
4
wouldn't
hits.
become, between our
Carter, that was
relationship.
just a
And I
good
also
piece of hitting
know
there
that
to get the
social
single.
media
Next up, Manny
is
Ramirez.
good, but
One
it's
down and a
almost
runner
the
on
death of
first.
it. It's,
Taken for a ball.
sometimes
This
I
guy's a
don't
prime
do a good
candidate
job.
trying to swipe it back right here.
And, so I knew that also when I saw you at Toyota in Plano, Texas, and we both
One
kind of
ball,
come eye
2
to eye.
strikes.
Filthy
Smile
cutter,
at each
right on
other,
the
but,
black.
yeah, I know why you blocked me, and I believe I would too. To this day,
Cuts it off.
I block,
They
I
get tied
unfollow
up in
everybody
That's a
politics
fielder's choice.
because it saddens me, it makes me miserable. So I can really relate with you in that time. And so
Stepping in,
I think
Johnny
because me
Damon.
and you were really good friends, I knew what you were up to. I got it.
Pitch
and I
missed
knew you'd be
inside.
fine.
I blocked you, but it was just the assholes that were agreeing
Inside
with
for
you
a
and
ball.
yelling at me.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter
People were
change.
mad at me because I was having good trips. You have
And
one
the
bad
count
trip
is
on
2-1.
American Airlines.
This
and I'm
dude
like,
right here is a great
I
contact
don't even
hitter. They may be thinking about hitting and
on
running
your
right here.
issues. I just write on my
They
own
make the
Twitter.
play at second.
What
After
a
7 and a
gracious
half,
flight
the
attendant I
Yankees
had.
trail by
What a
3.
great flight I had. How much I enjoyed myself. People are like, yeah, well, Kenny Wallace did.
He feels
He's like,
bad.
oh,
He put that up
you
front,
shouldn't
beat
be
it
so
out.
happy about having a good trip. I'm like, what the hell? That doesn't even relate.
They're making a pitching change. Here comes a new pitcher.
I just did it. I did it not because of you, because of all the mean people that were agreeing with you.
Hey, we have each other's phone number. We don't need each other's Twitter account.
That was funny though, because I went on Dale Jr.'s download.
It's hit out to left.
Why the hell did you block Kenny Wallace?
Yeah. Well,
Berkman puts it away.
Once again, I struggle with social media. I really do. And there's times.
Hey, I can take out the social part. I'm struggling right now with media in general.
He reaches with a one-out single.
I just can't believe some of the things I hear and read and see, and I don't know what the answer is.
The ball is hit to center.
It's really challenging right now.
He's on his way to the plate.
It's not sad to say, but it's true. Me and you are of the same brain, and I came that close a week ago, literally deleting all of it off of my phone. The only reason I did it was because my sponsors that I have,
no balls in one strike.
They love me on it.
Well, let me tell you another reason why you shouldn't, and it's the reason why I have it. It's because there's hundreds of thousands of people that love you and want to hear what you've got to say. I can't wait to read your tweets. Just because
you can't reach the throw and you'll have to run it down.
They're making their own breaks in the bases today, Kyle. That was some good base running there to go from first to third in the single.
That ruin the experience for hundreds of thousands of others. You owe it as a public figure and a guy that gets to race a car because he has sponsors. You owe it to those people to just ignore the mean.
Hey, this guy at the plate can flat out fly. You better go right after him because you don't want to put him on for free.
Let me tell you why you shouldn't ever delete your Twitter. You get to race a car because you have great sponsors on your car. Plus, you're a family man. I love seeing you with your kids. There's hundreds of thousands
of
people.
It's hit out to center field. Incredible catch.
And just because there's 100 or 200 or how many ever buttholes
those are the kind of plays that
ruin the experience for some of them.
The next batter is Coco Chris.
And just
okay, this runner can read pitches like nobody's business, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to steal a bat.
If Kenny wasn't around on the social media.
Hit hard to the third baseman. Throw goes
well,
for
I
the
got to give
cutoff
you a
man.
compliment because I remember a long time ago I said to you, I said,
Now, there's a perfect example of the same
tweet a lot, and you said to me, works for me. And I thought, I'll never forget that as long as I live because it reminds me of Dick Trickle. Remember, he's saying, as long as you can justify it. So one of the reasons I stay on Twitter was because you said those simple words to me. It works for me. And, yeah, it's amazing that we don't realize in life.
Three
somebody
pitches,
said to me,
strikes.
hey, I remember what you said. And I'm like, what did I say? And so I'm telling you that I said that to you one time. I said, man, you shouldn't tweet a lot.
The Red Sox
the simple words you're saying it works for me.
This
and,
game is brought to you by EA Sports. EA Sports is in the game.
But you're the one that taught me.
Here we go. This is what it's all about,
big boy. You know? So, yeah, thank you.
One day I got a call from you on TV, and I showed the TV camera.
Oh!
Here's the 0-1 pitch.
I said, look, Kenny Wallace is calling me.
Dirksen takes inside.
You are the reason I have this phone number right now.
And that's a strike swinging.
Oh my God, you had that BlackBerry phone. And you went.
Here's the
I'm down
1-2
in
delivery.
Nashville at the concrete track.
He goes the up. He lays
You're in Pocono. You guys are in rain delay. Bob Miller comes in.
He reaches
with
a
Bob
leadoff
says,
single.
what are you doing, Mikey?
He's got good wheels and he hustled all the way down the line.
I'm talking to Kenny Wallace. What showed my phone number? I'll never forget it.
The corners are close to the lines.
And my phone
right now is where you see the manager's wheels spinning. To bunt
it was
or
funny.
not
And
to bunt.
Allison, by the end
There
of the
goes
day,
the
it's
runner.
called whoever it was at that
Into
time.
second safely with a steal.
And they had me a new
Partner,
phone
that
number.
guy had a huge lead
the phone
over
number
there.
that I have
The
now,
pitcher
right
fell
now,
asleep and
is
forgot
because
all
of you.
about him.
So we're tied close
Next
together.
pitch.
Always and you were
Just
kind
off the
enough
plate.
to give me one of your helmets.
Sometimes you
Look
try
at this,
to make
baby.
a hitter change
I'm
your
here.
pitch. That's
I've named
exactly
my
what you saw
studio,
right there.
Kenny, the Dale Earnhardt Studio, because I've got one of his helmets and just a lot of memories of Dale. And this is where I'm going to do my podcast from, and I do some interviews. And I'm really thankful that, to my friend Michael from Kenny Wallace. Really thankful that you were able to
down on strike.
more this in a race.
Ooh, this guy's had a rough day, man. That strikeout just gave him the hat trick.
And we traded helmets. So thank you for the helmet.
Up next, Miguel
Thank you
Cabrera.
for making me happy. And I think Kenny Wallace, my heart lights up. Thank you.
Well, Mikey, I love you. I truly do. And I mean that. You're a big part of my life. You've molded me a little bit of who I am.
One ball to
and you're
strike.
right.
With Kenny Strader, Dick
Pitcher
Trickle,
and
by
catcher
the
have a
way.
strategy in mind.
Hey,
So far, the
you
batters
know
are
what?
taking these
I'm
pitches.
going to tell you. I'm going to tell
Let's see
you
if
what
you take advantage of the
taught
runner
me.
on second to score this run.
Strader said, Kenny Wallace, I love you because you're so messed
the
up.
1-2.
You make me feel good about myself. So, me and you are so messed up. I'm like, hey.
And he's got it.
Hey, that helmet, that is one of my real helmets. And we did trade at the end of that year. And I appreciate you giving me a helmet too,
Runner
Mikey.
on
So
second
thanks.
with 2 down.
Well, I will
They
tell you
asked the third base umpire
one
if
more
he
little
swung.
funny story, then we got to wrap it up. I don't even know how long we've been talking, but I'm very happy. Jacob Allman from Fox, he told me to tell you
Look
hi,
like
by
the
the
pitcher and
way.
catcher have a
But I was
strategy in
talking
mind.
to
So
him
far, the batters are taking
the other
these
day,
pitches.
and I said something, and he said,
Takes a pitch
he said,
high.
you know, I was just thinking the same thing. I said, that's pretty scary, isn't it? As smart as you are to think that I can think the same things that you think. That's how we are.
Yeah, and I've learned that in my older age that we did cut ourselves too short. It's not that you and I are weird. We're just different, and they all are the same. Me and you are awesome because we're different from all
Walk
the
number 3
normal
given up in the ball game.
And it's
That's a terrible time to be walking hitters.
all the weirdos, you know.
Berkman steps into the
take
batter's
care
box.
out there in St. Louis, Missouri. Hope you get to go back racing again soon.
Takes
All right,
a
Mikey.
pitch
and
just
I'll
off the
see
plate.
you down the
1-0.
road. I don't know when, but I love you.
I love you too, and you tell Strader that I miss him.
2 balls and no strikes.
I will.
Bye-bye, buddy. Well, that was a lot of fun. I knew it would be. Kenny Wallace and I, we're kindred spirits. We've always been a part of each other's lives. So thank you so much, Herm, for joining me. And listen, if you're watching at home on your favorite podcast app, be sure to add the Fox Sports YouTube channel and check out Waltrip Unfiltered.
The ball is hit
We
to
love
right.
bringing you these stories and learning from some of the stars.
That's the third out with no left
Appreciate
on
you
first
tuning
and
in.
second.
Can't wait to talk to you next week.
After 8.5, the Yankees trail by a single run. They're setting up a pinch hitter.
This is a good move, Kite, because right-handed hitters have some trouble picking up off-speed pitches from right-handed pitchers.
And it's 1-2.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your pitch. That's exactly what you saw right there.
Takes low. Strike 3, and he'll take a seat.
Hey, Kite, you know, every once in a while, you just got to reach back and come up with a good strikeout pitch.
The count. Ramos takes inside. Two and two, the count.
Look like the pitcher and catcher have a strategy in mind. So far, the batters are taking these pitches.
3-2.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your pitch. That's exactly what you saw right there.
That's the pitcher's 4th walk of the game.
Hey, Meat, make him earn it. Killing me.
If ever they're going to steal a bag, it's right now with this guy. He really knows how to steal a bag.
He tries the push bunt. Got him at first base. This guy is great at getting the bat on the ball. No balls, 1 strike.
That's a perfect pitch, partner. Fastball on the edge of the strike zone. The batter swung right through it.
Barnes lays off outside for a ball. He tipped it foul. The count is 2-2. That's a ground ball to the right side. Popped up in foul territory, but he has room for a play. And the game is over. Keith Fulk closes it out for the save. The Boston Red Sox win it by 1.